Super Rugby, round 4, the Saturday games. There's 5 games on. Kind of a good mix of, South African teams, Argentinian teams, Japanese teams, New Zealand, Australian. It's all in the mix this weekend with a few kind of spicy derby matches in there as well. So, hopefully it's going to be a good weekend of rugby. It's been pretty miserable here in Auckland today, so hopefully going forward it gets a bit better, at least for that Blues game. For the first one, Crusaders up against the Chiefs. Yeah, couldn't be having much more different seasons, could they? The Crusaders, despite not really putting the Blues away in that first round like they were perhaps thought to, have just been doing what the Crusaders do. They are one of only 2 unbeaten teams. The only team with a 3-0 record. The Rebels are the only other unbeaten team in that. Is only over 2 games. So, yeah, the Crusaders are crusading on. The Chiefs have had a very, very poor start to the season. 3 losses on the trot to a New Zealand team, Australian team, and a Japanese team. So, it doesn't get any easier. Trip to Christchurch, if they're going to get their season on track. A win down there would certainly be a good way to do it. But you wouldn't be putting the mortgage on it. So, yeah, Crusaders team, Sever Reece starts on the wing for them. Bit of controversy around that guy, given some issues with the law last season, so they're giving him a start. So we'll see what kind of reception he gets. Mo'unga's still at 10. Inati is at 9, so that's a bit of a change. Douglas still at 8 with no Reed expected for a few more weeks. It is a change lineup though, because you got Billy Harmon there. Taufu is fit and rearing to go. Dan Shea starts alongside Scott Barrett. Andrew Makaleo, Alan Latoa, and Moody are in the front row. So, yeah, there's still kind of a bit of changes with Blackadder coming in. Bauer is there. I'm assuming it's Bauer. Who is Bauer? Mental note, look up who's George Bauer. Sorry, George. I may have seen you on Mitre 10 Cup, but I cannot remember off the top of my head. David Havili starts on the bench. So it's still a strong team. The Chiefs welcome back Solomon Alemalo, so that's very, very good news because he was an outstanding player for them last season. Leonard Brown and Tumua Manu are in the midfield. It's still Weber and McKenzie at 9 and 10, so some guys who really need to fire in that Chiefs lineup. Britellic is captain. Ardron's had to move into the second row because Allardyce is injured. Lachlan Boshier, Tulani Siu starts at 8. Mitch Brown is there. So you look at that Chiefs lineup and go, it's better than what they have been showing. But it's just not been happening. I'd be picking the Crusaders, but who'd be picking against the Crusaders at home? It's not been done in a long, long time. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Crusaders by 12 is what the bookies are saying. So, not giving the old Chiefs much chance of getting their season on the right track. Next, Blues Sunwolves. There's a fair bit riding on this for both the Blues and me personally. I got a bet with the Imbiber, who's a guy based in Japan. If you've seen his channel, you'll know he's kind of our resident expert on the Sunwolves and Japanese rugby. So, yeah, if I lose, I've got to send him a bottle of something nice. So here's hoping the Blues get a win and I get a bottle of something from Japan. We will see. The Blues could definitely use a win apart from my betting reasons. They are none from 3, just like the Chiefs. It's been a kind of predictable start for the Blues. Sunwolves got that 1 victory last week over the Chiefs, so they are kind of on a bit of a high. And they have improved from week 1. Like week 1 they were poor, then they got better in that second week against the Tars, and then better again against the Chiefs. So if that kind of trend continues, the Blues could be in a wee bit of trouble. Tuina Koafe, Parsons, and Mafaleo in the front row. I need them to really push on and try to get some dominance up front. Tom Robinson's still at 6. Blake Gibson's fit, so he's at number 7. Akira Iwane is at 8. They really need to use him to be a main ball carrier, or at least as a diversion as somebody else carries the ball up, because he is a danger player. Pulu and Plummer are at 9 and 10. So a fair bit of pressure on Plummer here to do a job. He obviously missed that kick in the Blues game against the Crusaders, which could have got us a win, but hey, things happen. Rico Ioane hasn't really set the world on fire this Super Rugby season, but he is playing for the Blues, so it's kind of a bit hard, but he's on the wing at number 11. Sonny Bill's captain at 12. We'll see if that added responsibility can lift to his performance levels, because he has not. He's not the Sonny Bill of old thus far this season. For the Sunwolves, there's some familiar faces. And Poliasu Manu, he's there. Also Michael Little, who's captain. This is kind of his home ground out of Albany, so he will have a point to prove here. This one is played at Albany rather than Eden Park, so perhaps a little less familiar for the Blues, may give the Sunwolves another step forward, but it will be the home ground for a fair few of the guys who play for Harbour. Yeah, who else for the Sunwolves? Vanden Heer's been eating up the run meters, so they have to keep him under control. Emery's in at 13, which is a switch. Also, Matsuda starts at 10 rather than radar boot Hayden Parker. Hart Parker is on the bench. I'm not sure. Does that give me a little bit more confidence in the Blues? Because you know if Parker's kicking, he's going to punish every little penalty that you give him within range. So perhaps having him on the bench gives the Blues a ray of hope. I'm not so sure. Jamie Booth's at 9, and he had a really good game for them when he came on last week as well. Likewise, Matsuhashi had a bit of a stormer for the Sunwolves as well. Uehilu is on the bench. He was a very much impact player from the start for the Sunwolves last week. He may do the same job, but kind of in reverse, coming on when there's some tired legs. So, yeah, it could be tough. Interestingly, the bookies have got the Blues by 15, which I think probably gives them too much credit. I mean, hey, the Blues may go out and do a job here, but I think that's giving the Blues a wee bit too much credit. Personally, the Sunwolves have been pretty good. The Blues have not, so I'm not sure why it's kind of a 2-try plus margin, but there we go. It is what it is. The next one is the Waratahs hosting the Rebels. The Waratahs coming off a bye. 50-50 record for them. The Reds have been okay, but haven't managed to pick up any wins, so they are none from 2. The Waratahs, you would have thought, should get this one. I mean, I'll just skip straight to the bookies. The bookies have got them by 10. But I feel like if the Reds can put things together, you do never know with this Reds team. It's unfortunate for them that Jordan Pataya is out for the season. 18-year-old, he's had a very interesting start. He's looked kind of dangerous for the Reds, but he is gone, so that's a big loss for them. For the Tars, it's a bit of a mixed lineup with Beale at fullback and Folau on the wing, so that's... Yeah, we'll see how Beale goes under the high ball. It's not always his kind of best aspect of his game. Hunt and AAC are in the midfield. Foley starts with Gordon inside him. Hooper's captain, Hannigan's there, Rob Simmons, Jed Holloway, Kepu, Fitzpatrick, and Harry Johnson-Holmes, who's coming along nicely at loosehead. For the Reds, interesting to see if their scrum can get on top, because it couldn't last week. But yeah, they're not always going to be able to get on top, I suppose. Tupou Paenga-Mosa and JP Smith start, so there is a bit of a shift there in that front row. Higginbotham, the try scorer, is still there. Sarovi and Hegarty are at 9 and 10, which is an interesting one because they have recently been playing Hegarty at fullback, so it's a positional shift for him. We'll see how he runs the show. Karevi and Feowaisa Tia are at 13 and 14. Paiawa is at 12, so yeah, I wouldn't count the Reds out. I mean, they've got Timo on the bench who's going to add some pace. Stewart may come on and replace Hegarty at some point. I feel like the Reds aren't that far away, but then they could also go and get beaten by 20, so I guess we will see. The Waratahs may be a bit rusty after the week off, but yeah, hopefully it's a good game. Waratahs by 10, like I said, is what the bookies have got for that one. The next one is Lions up against Jaguares, and it's another one where, kind of like the Rebels and the Brumbies, they played not that long ago. They played in round 1, so it's another bringing together of these two teams who seem to play each other quite a lot, especially after kind of playoffs last season as well. Traditionally, it's the one where the home team always gets the win, but the Lions bucked that trend this season with the opening round, so they got that one victory, but that was the high point thus far for the Lions. It's not been going well since then. They've lost 2 games. Jaguares, on the opposite, you know, poor first round, but have been getting incrementally better. I hope that form can carry through, and they can make a game of this, because traditionally they don't do that well in South Africa, and like I said, especially not against the Lions. So it is going to be a tough one for them. That South African conference is still pretty much wide open, so somebody's got to make a run and make a push and kind of get to the top. For the Lions, Sadi, Marks and Smith continue on in the front row, so that's been effective. There are a few names that you guys may have to educate me a bit about, because on the blind side is Vincent Tishuka. Pronunciation, man, give me some guidelines. I haven't seen him play, but Schoeman's been in hot form on the open side. Quacker Smith's at number 8. So you're effectively playing with 2 open sides there. So breakdown time, they should be dangerous when you factor in Malcolm Marks as well. Ross Conyer on Yankees 9 and 10. Skosan, Mahuza on the wings. Andres Coetzee at 15. So Lions team needs to pick their game up, because they've still got much of that squad that was a Super Rugby finalist team last season. There's been a few guys like Mostert's gone, but they still need to pick it up. For the Jaguares, a few changes. So Cancellieri is on the wing. Iskura's at 12. Boffelli is back, which is good to see him back, but he's on the wing rather than fullback. Tukle is captain at fullback. Bonija is still at 10. Landajo is at 9, so that number 9 jersey's kind of been rotating around a bit between like guys like Kubeli as well. Bruni, Kremer and Leguizamon at 6, 7 and 8. So Leguizamon, one of the kind of more senior players. We'll see how he goes. He's on the blind side. Yeah, it's definitely a bit shifted. Like, so Medrano's on the bench, Lavanini's on the bench. So we'll see if all those changes kind of add to some freshness for the Jaguares, or if it leads them to being a wee bit disjointed. Again, hopefully it's a good game. I may not get to see this one live because it is on in the middle of the night here in New Zealand. But Lions by 9 is what the bookies have got for that one. And finally, it's an all South African clash with the Bulls up against the Sharks. Both teams, 2 wins and a loss. Sharks had their 2 wins opening over the Sunwolves and the Blues, and then a kind of disappointing loss to the Stormers last week. Bulls, it's kind of been good, bad, good. So we'll see which team turns up for this 4th game. If they go in good, bad, good, it could be a bad game, but hopefully not. They've the 2 games that they've looked good, they have looked very good. So let's hope that they can kind of continue on. And Sharks also need to pick it up after that disappointing one. So for the Bulls, Galant's still at fullback. That's good. Speckman's there. He's looked really good this season, hasn't he? Apart from that one quiet game. Pollard has been in control, the maestro kind of from number 10. He continues on, he's captain. Van Sale starts at 9, so Papier is relegated to the bench. How that impacts the game, I guess we'll see. Vermeulen continues on at 8. Scott Brits was awesome last week, he's at number 2. Yeah, that squad's looking better than last season for sure. And the coach in his first year seems to have a good touch. But we're only 3 games in. He needs to get some consistency. Sharks. Jeremy Ward's at 12. So Andre Esterhuizen is relegated to the bench. Umtawawira, Van der Merwe and Oosthuizen. Got to get that Oosthuizen pronunciation. I believe that's right. Are at 1, 2 and 3. Dan Dupree had a good game at 8 last week, and he continues on. Rob Dupree still at 10. Mapimpian and Kossi have looked dangerous from the wings. Has looked great at 13. So yeah, there's lots to look forward to this weekend. The Bulls by 5 is what the bookies have got for that one. So it has been an interesting season of Super Rugby thus far. I mean, just look at the number of kind of wins and losses these teams have got. There haven't been any draws as yet. But yeah, apart from the Crusaders doing super good and the Chiefs and Blues doing super bad, Reds, it's too early to really judge after 2 games. But I mean, all of them, it's really too early to judge, but you know what I mean. It's been a mixture, so there's not been any team kind of consistently winning apart from the Crusaders. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how this goes. You guys let me know your thoughts. How do you think these games are going to go? Which one do you think looks like the game of the round? Obviously for me it's the Blues. I'm going to be there. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.